all of our voiceover guests. Give it up for them. Come on up, man. Keep it going. There's a lot of them, man. Keep it going. Hello. You went shopping. You did, I saw your bag. There's a microphone. So again, if the screen's off, hit the button and then hit the button again to unmute it.
Thank you. Hi, Benita. She likes Larabee.
Yeah?
Yeah, we both do, you and me. Hi, I'm Bryan Massey. I guess you might know me as, have you guys seen Titanic? Yeah, I'm not in that. You might know me as the voice of Oolong in Dragon Ball, maybe Crimson Ride in My Hero, or Dick Gumshoe Ace Attorney, or maybe you know me as Wilhelm the Enforcer in Borderlands, or maybe you know me as Radies in Black Clover. There's more, but get your Google out. Thank you.
Woo! Well, that was my first question. Yeah, just introduce yourselves and let us know what character you portray and all that jazz.
No one. I'm a ghost. No.
Hi everyone, I'm Hayden, Daviau. You might know me as Marnie in Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, as well as Gossifleur in Eldegoss. I'm Pinkley Page in Rainbow High. I am Vakala in Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Priestess in Goblin Slayer, Yasuko Kuenji in the Helpful Fox Senko-san, Prado in Gunvolt 3, and a bunch of other stuff. I don't have my IMDb in front of me, so I don't remember everything, but that's me. Hi, hello, thanks for having us.
Hello. Hi, people. Hi. My name is Adin Rudd. You might know me as the voice of Sam in Honkai Star Rail, as well as Beelzebub in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Archie in Pokemon Masters, Lysander in Pokemon Evolutions, Artur in Fire Emblem Heroes, Scrapface in Transformers War for Cybertron, all sorts of different stuff. So that's me. It's just, yeah.
Hi kids, I'm TV's Kyle Abear. You might have seen me, no. I'm John Allen. I was Alessi in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Had a boy.
Critter in Sword Art Online. Red Blood Cell AC 1677 in Cells at Work Code Black. Thornton and Brawley in Pokemon Masters. Jarvis McBallsy on Pain back on the PlayStation 3. And the current voice of Mr. Poopy Butthole on Rick and Morty. Ooh-wee.
Okay, you would think that I would know how to use a microphone. Maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe I'll use that one. 1, 2, 3. Hello. I don't know.
Howard.
Hello.
I'm not an audio guy. I'm an actor. All right. This concludes.
This concludes.
Yes.
Wow, okay, 8 minutes later. All right, hey everybody, I'm Bryan Mathis. You might know me from Ancient Magus Bride, One Piece, Fairy Tale, Sacrificial Princess and King of Beasts, Not to Men's Book of Friends, Fire Force, Black Clover, what else? I don't know. You could, Blacktober, yes, no, Black Clover, Black Clover, yes, Black Clover. It is, yeah.
It sounds like you're selling me a Honda.
This is our new Blacktober. Yes, it was.
I'll buy what he's selling.
Anyway, I'm Bryan Mathis. I'm so excited to be here. Look me up, find all the other voices that I've done to the other shows that I'm doing. And it's so much fun to be with all of these knuckleheads up here, because they are a lot of fun.
My name's James Larabee. I run a studio in Dallas, Highlight Studios. We make demos, we make your dreams come true, but I also do voices for a lot of different things. Recently, a character called Atomi and Buchigiri. Thank you very much, Hayden, that was great.
You're welcome. I love your reads on the dialogue.
Wrote that dialogue for me, it was amazing. Bungo in One Piece, let me see, a guy named Oshatari, which is great, in Salaryman's Club, and just lots of other things. And I think I started off in Fairy Tale a long time ago. And we're just here to answer questions.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I've
need
got
to
a
ask
whole bunch
questions.
of them. We'll do a Q&A here in a little bit, I promise you on that, man. Who is here because they want to become a voice actor? Yeah, we got right on. We've got a lot of inspiration right here on this panel.
Get out while you can.
So since they are inspiring you, we want to find out who inspired you, to start off with all this jazz.
I was inspired by most of the knuckleheads up here. Sorry, I'm using Bryan Mathis as knucklehead. I was inspired by probably, for me personally, I'm old, Mel Blanc from Bugs Bunny days. You're despicable. So I would go around and mimic his voice all the time, and then I realized there's other characters to do, like so I just learned mimicry and Scooby-Doo and Scoob. I love mimicry. So I just loved it all, and then as I got older, did theater, I realized you can make a little change doing this, and people will hire you to do these crazy voices in a booth. So here we are. Thanks.
Yay!
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Oh gosh, it's one of those. I grew up watching a lot of cartoons. I was a cartoon kid. I grew up watching like Teen Titans and stuff like that. I was like, no. Oh gee, baby. But I always just really enjoyed. I was the kid in the backyard playing pretend all the time. My moms were like, "You're gonna go play your imaginary game, sweetie? Have fun." I was like, "Yep. Today I'm Raven from Teen Titans. Today I'm Luke Skywalker. Let's go." And I just found this passion for performance and playing pretend. I was the kid who got up at other people's recitals because I wanted to sing and perform. And I just kind of found a love for it, and I started doing musical theater. And I think my biggest inspiration for becoming a voice actor specifically, we talked about this story, was J. Michael Tatum. When I was in middle school watching anime. And it's like, yeah, he plays a lot of suave, cool characters. And I was like, okay, so he's got like a type. And then I watched Sergeant Frog, and that was not the type he was playing at all. And it made me realize, I'm like, oh, he's an actor. He can just kind of do whatever. I'm like, I want to do that. I love doing theater. On camera is fun, but I have way more options as a voice actor. And you can play a lot more. So it was really Michael, and that's gonna get back to him someday. And hi. That's me.
So mine, so honestly, one of the big ones for me was probably Seth MacFarlane, because it was one of my first parlor tricks was I was the impressionist of my group of friends, and I could do every male Family Guy character, not just him, but Mike Henry's as well, and all of those. Another one, funny enough, a story that I tell is I kind of found this career by doing a competition at Anime Expo of a voice acting contest, and they made you memorize a monologue and bring it there from an anime. And the next year I was planning to compete, but they got rid of it, but I had a monologue that I had picked out because I loved this show and I loved this character so much. And it was actually one of Bryan's, because it was Lad Russo from Bacano. Yeah. No, I love that character so much, so yeah.
Everybody wants the side.
I'll do green. That Urkel kid. No. Although Julio's great. I would say he did 2 Sonic the Hedgehogs, at the same time. 2 people that I helped kind of shape my childhood with their voice work, and I'm pleased as punch and honored that I had the chance to study under them, were Pat Fraley, who you might remember as Krang on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the 80s. And another would be Charlie Adler, who was Cow, Chicken, and the red guy on Cow and Chicken, Adin, Beth, Big Head on Rocko's Modern Life, Buster Bunny on Tiny Toons. When it comes to the anime stuff, speaking of Kyle, Aber, I mentioned him earlier, 2 people that both of us were big fans of before we got into anime. Scott McNeil, who was the original Piccolo on Dragon Ball Z, and Bryan Drummond, who was the original Vegeta on Dragon Ball Z when the characters were being voiced by the Canadian group. So it is surreal to me that coming from that, like I'm being included in tweets with like Bryan Drummond these days. So it's really neat.
Awesome. I'm going to follow suit with what Brian Massey said. I grew up paying attention to so much Mel Blanc stuff, and I was just enamored with the fact that he had so much range. And as I got older, I realized how much he did in the analog world before digital and how hard it was to do back then. But I was always impressed with him and his just incredible range of characters. And I also, like you, it was kind of a parlor trick to do the impressions of not only our favorite shows, but then I started doing impressions of people in my circle. So they were like, "Oh, do John from that class, and do the janitor from the whatever." You know, you start, but in a way, you're developing characters because they're based on real people, and it kind of came out of that. And so sometimes when I create new characters for anime and that kind of thing, they're actually people that I have met or come across in my life. Sometimes they're a family member, but that's another story.
To add on to that, I will say I definitely ran for student council in high school with a George W. Bush impression, like similarly. So.
I did it. Recount.
Mission accomplished.
I don't want no recount. No.
I probably came from it from a very different standpoint. I drew cartoons as a child and really enjoyed that. And I actually thought I was going to be a comic strip artist. And comics lead to mangas, lead to anime, lead to acting. And Tim Curry was my inspiration growing up. That sounds weird, but I mean, he's done everything. He was in Anastasia, he played the Bat. Bartok, he's played dragons. He was a great character actor. If you haven't ever seen Legend, I mean, he does a great Satan. And but the people that can change their characters don't just inspire you for stage acting, but you know, you can do different voices. And it's the one place where you can truly be anyone. And I think that's what got me, is because on stage I kept getting cast as what I looked like. And in anime I get cast as what I sound like. So definitely, you know, anyone can do this if you have the training, the energy, and the enthusiasm. But bring yourself, your voice. It's important.
Yeah. Speaking of all those aspiring voice actors, can you give them, if that's what they want to do, what are some of the first steps that they should take? Yes, I was about to say, yeah, if we can start down there. Yeah, what are some of the first steps that they would take? First steps to becoming a voice actor.
Well, I do have a studio, and we teach classes.
So see James.
No, see
make you famous.
We'll be glad to help you. But I think your first steps would be theater. If you haven't done it in high school, pick it up in college. Haven't done it in college, pick it up at a community theater. If you haven't done improv, there's so many places to do it. But love acting first, and then voice acting becomes an extension of that. It's okay to do both, but at the same time, I mean, acting is something that you want to do, and voice acting is a component of that. So I would say get some acting under your belt. Be in a movie, my casting file, go to that, be some background actors, pick up some lines, develop your resume. My casting file is free. Bryan calls it this, he calls Dallas, California, because there's so much being filmed there. But the same can be said for Houston. I see so many postings for Houston, and it's like, oh dude, do I want to drive 5 hours to be, you know, on screen for 15 seconds?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes. And especially if you get a speaking line, you know, so go for it. But I would just say act. Just go out there and do it. Put yourself on the line. Make yourself vulnerable. It's okay if people don't like you. It's gonna happen a lot. People don't like me all the time. I just got a hot dog from someone, I'm pretty sure they didn't like me when I asked for, more relish, but they did it. They did it. I don't get liked all the time, but that's okay. Make yourself honorable, get up there, do that, be that person. Just start. Don't say you'll do it tomorrow. Just start. Start acting immediately. That's how we do it. And then take a class at iLight Studios in Dallas, Texas.
Anybody else?
Hey, that was Hayden's answer 2 days ago. This is great.
Everything he said, I agree with him.
Yeah.
I mean, people
4
who
more
are
years. 4 more years.
No recount.
people who are trying to get into it now. There's some pros and some cons from when some of us started. The good news is that, us being in the Zoom age, you have access to taking classes that maybe before, if you weren't physically in the area, you couldn't study with those people without, great expenditure of flying out and lodging and all that. So that's cool. The cons are that, we've got this AI nonsense creeping into the business more and more. So heads up on that and hedge your bets. I would recommend learning another trade in addition to voice acting if you want to pursue it, but by all means go for it if it's what's in your soul and it's your passion. I'll plug a book that a buddy of mine wrote. James Alberger has a book called The Art of Voice Acting. I think it's like its 4th or 5th edition now. And there's a picture of somebody illustrating the cork warm-up technique. His hair's tied back in a ponytail, but you might recognize him if you see the picture. So, yeah.
I would say, just to add on to all of this, it's, as James said, theater training is massive, because a lot of voice acting is you've got to imagine what the imaginary character is saying and doing across from you, and it's a lot easier to do that when you've had experience acting across a real person, so you could kind of have that as well. I will say, if you need cheaper access to a really comprehensive acting class, check out community colleges. Yeah. They offer acting classes. Those were, yeah, and they're cheap. It was my first acting classes were at a community college. And then the other thing, it's a couple of us have talked about this privately, and it's just have a life outside of it as well. It's, it's so many people when they get into this, they make it the only thing that they think about or focus on, and that is it. But the thing is acting is all about conveying the human experience, and you're not gonna be able to do that if you don't let yourself be a human. So yeah, have your hobbies, have your friend groups, live your life alongside it, and then it becomes way easier to express your art if you let yourself live life. So all of those things, yeah.
To add even more onto that is improv classes. Yeah. Because so much of what we do is what is called cold reading, where we walk into a booth, we've never seen the script before, we just have to be able to drop into our character and go. So taking improv classes is super valuable. Also, it gives you great tools for when you get redirection from the client or the director. It's hey, can you actually try it like this? Hey, can you say this line, but you're falling off a cliff, and you just have to be able to do it. So improv classes and theater are gonna be so, so valuable for this.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I'd gone first. No, I'm kidding. I was gonna say everything everyone said is right. I was trying to think of something to add to this. I think something that no one mentioned that I just thought of, maybe is also what's very important is to realize how you look and sound to other people, because your perception, when I walked in a room to do an audition for a movie, I thought, hey, they're looking at George Clooney, right? No, they don't see me as George Clooney. They saw me as Sean Astin, or they might hear me as a certain way. So it's imperative to be realistic about how you sound. If you can know how you are perceived by others, that is a serious weapon on your behalf. So when you walk in there to do a voice audition, if you can just record on your phone and listen to yourself, you have all the tools you need. You can record your face on your phone and see yourself. But it's important to know how you look and sound to other people. Not how you want to look and sound, but how you actually look and sound to casting. the people that are going to give you the jobs. So be pragmatic about it and do the due diligence and just record yourself in your phone. I do it all the time. Almost all my auditions I start with my phone. So good luck. Break a leg.
All right, voiceover people, you got the job, right? You got the job. You're hired. You're hired. You're yeah. They got their call back. Leave them for their call back. So professionals, what are some of the like exercises or practices that they could do before they get that job to prepare?
I'll go first this time.
John, will you please lead us off?
John, go ahead, sir.
No, you.
Oh, me?
No,
Okay.
Bryan.
Bryan.
Sorry, Bryan.
Go ahead.
That's my fault.
So one good thing to do is obviously vocal warm-ups. You want to lubricate your mouth. Drink water, as Hayden pointed out yesterday. Don't drink cold water. Drink, room temp. So you want to make sure you keep yourself lubricated and do those voiceover articulation exercises. Toy boat, sing a light song on the road, but don't blow your voice up before you get to the session. I've done that, and it's the worst.
Yeah, it's a lot of that, just vocal warm-ups, keeping hydrated, keeping like your body limber as well. Something like we learned in theater, stretching. You want to stretch out your whole back, everything. Do that like before you get in your car, so then the more loose your body is, the more your voice will be able to like come out properly, proper breathing techniques, not yelling from your throat, things like that. It's remembering that your body is your instrument. So like, let's say you're doing like band and things like that. You need to look after your clarinet or your flute, your guitar. You need to change the strings, things like that. The upkeep of those things is so important. So the upkeep of your body is imperative in this if you want to have longevity in this career.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add because I'm bad about doing vocal warm-ups. I'm very bad at it. No, it's I will say this is just one that worked out really well for me, and it's how like tongue twisters are a common vocal warm-up. One thing that I would do, because it was both a tongue twister and a way to build energy, is if you like rap, and there's a verse that you really like and have memorized, use that as your tongue twister, because it gives you energy like as you're going through it as well. Just a random thing that I've picked up, but yeah, it's just fun. And then yeah, again, look out for yourself if you're gonna do a session. So people always say no dairy, but that's honestly more for singers than it is for us. To quote Richard Horvitz, sometimes mucus adds character. But I would say like a food thing that you might want to keep in mind is just anything that could give you acid reflux. Because if it like comes up and hits your vocal cords, you're dead. You're done for the day. Like, yeah. So yeah, that's the one thing I would say keep an eye out for. And anything that could give you hiccups, because that's not fun when that happens. That happened to me in the booth twice.
Pray and do your
Yeah. Oh, I had to take a break during one of those. Like I had to like straight up like go into the other room and just start like downing water. But it was a director I'd worked with a bunch, and he was like, "Oh, that happened to you? It's fine. It happens to Fred Tatasciore too. You're okay." And I'm like, "Cool."
I believe it was.
Yeah. All right, but that's really all I have to say.
To piggyback off all of that kind of thing, if you're getting started and you don't have a lot of experience in the booth, one thing I suggest to a lot of people is to practice reading aloud. Practice and to read things you've never read before. Go through a book, pick a random page, go through the Bible, go through a magazine article, anything, and read a passage of it in that moment, because that's what you're going to have to do. As Hayden says, you're going to have, when you go into the booth, you're going to do everything cold, and you're going to have to make choices right in the moment. So you must get comfortable reading the English language on demand. So that way, if you start discovering words that are difficult for you to say, and record it if you can. Pick up your device and record so you can hear what you're saying, and listen to yourself if you have any little hitches in your voice, things that you might pronounce kind of oddly. I think we could all come up with words that we stumble over all the time, and you would be amazed at what our brain and our mouth get confused by. So that is what I would throw in to you for advice getting started.
Learn a monologue, start giving that monologue out to people, give that monologue out to people. And I do this all the time with my children and strangers and people I know. Start bringing it up as a conversation. They don't know you're doing the monologue and you're delivering it as a conversation. First of all, it's amusing for me. And secondly, you start finding out that you're delivering, text, you're delivering copy as a conversation. And I think, I forget who brought it up, but I mean, having a conversation with someone is a lot how these things have to sound. And if you sound like you're reading, they can tell right away. You won't get the job. But if you're having a conversation, well, that's totally different. You sound like, hey, you're the character. So I have this one monologue. It's a Superman monologue from Kill Bill. And I keep doing it to my son. I keep talking about comic books. Hey, I really like, and I just go on. And he doesn't realize it until about halfway through. Dude, your monologue. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Well, we've got a question or two left, and then I'm going to come down there, and you're going to ask questions, so make sure they're in your mental. What is the most... Sorry, man. You got skipped. Go ahead.
What? Oh, yeah. I forgot. I would just say, there's not a lot to tack on because there's like 7 people up here, but I focus on like the articulators, the resonators, and the breathers, and just make sure they're all in working order. And I try, keyword being try, to leave enough time management for the drive and the warm up and everything, so you don't walk into the booth all stressed out, like, oh, sorry, I didn't, starting off on the bed.
Right on, man. That was a great answer. Yeah, clap for him.
You're welcome.
John,
that'll be $45.
You're gonna answer this question first. Okay. What is the most frustrating and what's the most frustrating thing about voiceovers?
I would say the inconsistency of it at times, the grass is always greener or whatever, but like there are times that I miss the assurance of knowing when I'm gonna get paid and how much, as opposed to the feeling of like, when a job's done, like, oh my God, when's the next one? How do I budget things out? It's also, with so many different like social media platforms and stuff like that, it's really, I've seen like a weird trend in the last like 10, 20 years about how there's more emphasis on like appearances at times, and like that's one of the reasons I got into voiceover, was because it wasn't limited by that. And I don't mean like race appropriate casting or anything like that. I just mean that like, there are scenarios where sometimes that is taken more in like who's going to be a better look on a panel or something like that, when it used to really just be about like what you did on the mic and that's it, but now it's like, well, are you streaming enough video games for the fans? Are you doing enough TikToks? And that kind of is a little different to me, I guess.
Right on. Who else has something frustrating about the
Also Bryan. That's Bryan. Pretty frustrating. Oh, he's pretty frustrated.
Tax season. So you know how most jobs you get like a W-2, maybe like 1 or 2 extra tax forms. Yeah, we usually get like at least 30. So it's that, and organizing all of it, and making sure all your numbers are right, and making sure you get all the right deductions. And did I remember to deduct agency commission fees?
And they keep changing what you
like
can
that.
deduct.
Yeah, knowing what's even deductible in the first place. Like, yeah, it's most. I have an accountant, so that helps me a lot. But yeah, taxi, it's like the second you get as many of your forms as you can get, like usually I wait until like end of February because a lot of these clients sometimes are slow getting your forms. And I wait until usually the end of February, and then it's just like, get it done as fast as you can, because you don't know how much you're gonna owe by the end of it. So yeah, especially since a lot of this is 1099 work, so a lot of it is just, you're just gonna lose money. So you just gotta know that. So yeah, set it aside.
I was going to say, one thing that most actors don't like, I don't know if my fellow colleagues agree, but I don't mind line readings. If I can't get something right and you want to give me a line reading, I'll take it. It's a collaborative medium. It's not just about me going, I have the right delivery. No, I don't always have the right delivery.
For the record, a line reading is basically if I were to go, say it like this, and then I read the line to him, is basically, that's what a line read
that's
is.
what a line read is. And there's a lot of actors that frown upon that, but it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'm always like, how would you say it? Just give it to me. Because sometimes you get systematic and you just start getting stuck in your head the same delivery and it's staccato and you just need someone to spice it up with the line read. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Frustrating? All right, who's got some questions? I'll come down there, just raise your hand. This is how we're gonna do this. We only have one question.